I want it now! Is pretty much what happens whenever you make decisions without thinking about the consequences. See, the thing is, sometimes people are in a hurry and just want to get something done or set up, and just do things just because they do not care and want to get back to their normal life. Or they think that doing this is worth it, but after they are done, they realize that it was a mistake. Thankfully, in my life, all of the decisions that I have made that I did not think much of were not that big of a deal. They are more humorous, but they sure taught me a lesson. The first story is my alarm clock. Whenever I started the school last year, I needed an alarm to get me up at around 6 a.m., and I had an alarm clock in my room, but the lights on it were too bright and the alarm wasn't loud enough to wake me up. So, I used my phone, and I also waited until the last 2 minutes before I went to bed and going to school for the next morning. Whenever I set up the alarm, I did not think about the settings, I just set the time. Guess what happens next? I got to school on time because my alarm woke me up. Not what you were expecting, were you? The alarm clock did its job, but I started to realize something. Do you guys know the super popular ringtone, the Verizon wireless ringtone? You know, this one? Well, whenever I set up my ringtone, this was the one that is automatically selected, so I just went with it because I wanted to go to bed because I didn't care. See, that ringtone now haunts me everywhere. See, I am a morning person, however, I hate being forced to wake up, especially for school because I hate it so much. Every morning I heard this ringtone, I just got chills running down my spine, and I just get so sad. Well, since this ringtone is the default ringtone for all Verizon phones, everyone is too lazy to change it. I always get that feeling like I'm being woken up whenever I hear the ringtone. It has gotten so bad that I need to plug my ears whenever I hear it. And it's always around me wherever I go. If I'm in a restaurant, if I'm out buying something, if I'm in the middle of nowhere, walking by myself, and that one guy next to me walks past me, I really wish they picked a song like this to wake me up. Or this. Or this.
Hey party people, get on your feet, no matter how you wanna fake it, stay on the beat.
Or this.
I just fly away, never looking back to yesterday.
Secretly, this is actually my favorite song of all time. So as I was looking through my ringtones, I noticed this one. Yep, you literally heard the whole ringtone. It's called Beep Once. Now, I don't know who would want this, because you wouldn't be able to hear it besides that one beep, but the fun thing about this is in the ringtone section, I can just click this button all day, and just, it's very satisfying, you know, it's really satisfying. Like, seriously, what the is wrong with these ringtones? So a lot of you may be wondering, I've never heard these ringtones in my life. What kind of phone does he have? Well, hopefully I don't get sued by Apple, but I'm going to actually show you the pictures of the phone I have. It's actually called the iPhone 7T. I actually skipped the iPhone 7S because I thought the S stood for stupid. And I actually absolutely love the 7T. It's absolutely amazing. And the biggest feature that I think will improve Apple sales is the new sliding keyboard feature, which makes it extremely easy to type. Also, in the Apple 7T, they actually decided to ditch the Wi-Fi, so you have absolutely no Wi-Fi, and I think that's great because it goes back to the old roots, and I think people like the older times and the current times, you know? I think Apple is really going to succeed with this new phone. And the reason why I want these ringtones is because no one will have that song as a ringtone. The next thing that I did without thinking about the consequences was my YouTube channel. Do not get me wrong, I love everything about making videos. However, there are some things I did not think about. First off, the most important thing to me is the name. I wanted to call this channel Life Stealer 58, or Gaming for Life, or Stealer Gaming, or Steal a Life. You know, like still alive, but it is related to my name. However, if I wanted to make a new YouTube account, I needed to give Google my phone number. I did not want to, but I ended up doing it for this channel because you need to give Google your phone number to upload videos that are longer than 15 minutes long. I also made the first few videos expecting only the few PSN friends that I had at the time, and I did not really care that they knew my name. I was not expecting to get over 60,000 views and 700 subscribers, so thanks for your incredible support. You all are amazing. I'm also worried that since I changed my name, I might have some privacy issues in the future, which I sure hope does not happen. If there is a way to change my channel URL and my channel becomes more popular, then I probably will change my name. Also, I do not plan to sell shirts or anything, but no one would want a Spencer Strott shirt, and I cannot use LifeStealer58 because it is related to the football team. Next thing about YouTube that I did not think was the hate. Mean comments or people do not bug me as much anymore, but whenever I started a channel, a dislike or a mean comment would make me miserable. I would be all down for the rest of the day because of it. I've grown out of it, and while I do not like the hate, it does not bother me as much anymore. This has also given me insight about how frequently I should be active on YouTube with posting videos and such, which sometimes has made uploading videos or playing with you guys very difficult to manage time-wise. On a completely different story, I have an email account name. See, whenever I was around 10 or 11, I made an email account with a very dumb name. However, for whatever reason, I use this account for a few different things so I do not get spam. Well, I always get embarrassed whenever I need to contact a company whenever I have an issue because they always ask, so what is the username/email called? Since I use my email for things I didn't want spam, I would always awkwardly say, fatty@hotmail.com. Yes, okay, I know, I was not thinking of a normal name at 10, I just thought I would never use this account. Also, that is not the true email address. It is a bit different, but I do not want to mention it. The thing that surprises me the most is that no worker that has helped me ever comments on my email. I'm sure in training they are told not to say anything about privacy things, but how can you ignore fatty@hotmail.com? I think those workers deserve a raise. Thankfully though, the consequences have just been embarrassment. Wait a minute. Forget all those YouTube names I mentioned earlier. I will just name my channel the Fatty Games. Oh my gosh, we're gonna hit 1 million subscribers with this name! If you have watched the My Personality video, then you should already know about this, but this event was probably the biggest decision I have ever made without thinking about the consequences. I went snow tubing with a friend and his family, and we wanted to go down the hill as a chain. A chain is where you hold on to each other in a single file line, and no one wanted to be in the front because it was the most boring. Well, my friend's family were arguing about who goes in front because no one wanted to do it. Without thinking about the consequences, I just said, I will go in the front. All I was thinking about was to stop making them argue. As we went down the hill, my leg got caught in the snow, and with everyone pushing me, because I was in the front with my leg stuck, I fractured my right tibia, which means I broke my right leg. Yay! I love not thinking before the consequences. It was only a short 5 months of not being able to move. I loved it. For all of you who do not know me, that is something I call sarcasm. Writing this makes me wonder, why do we all do it? Why is it such a common thing? As I said in the beginning, to me, I think people live in a I want to do things now mode, and people think it is a waste of time to put a ton of long-term thoughts in it, or they just do not think it will happen. See, these events and seeing other people's events has changed the way I make decisions for the rest of my life, because you never know what is going to happen. Now, I do not sit there and think, cookies and cream, or cookie dough. I think about things for a long time that may affect situations that come in the long term. I also ask for other people's opinions, because they might bring up consequences I never thought of, and I feel like everyone should ask for their own decisions to other people. While not every situation has consequences, it is certainly possible to have at least one. Just for any other issues in my life that I could have controlled, it makes me wonder, what would have happened if I did not make that choice? I feel like another reason why we do this is because we do not think that the consequences will happen. It is just too unlikely. The only relatable example is a Minecraft world. I bet most of you, once Minecraft came out, whenever someone random joined, you let them stay because you thought that nothing bad will happen. Then 30 minutes later, your world got griefed. I bet most people thought that no one could be that cruel to do that to someone. So you let that person do what you want. Now you just hop into someone else's game, then you get kicked instantly because no one trusts anyone and the connection's so bad. Another explanation for why we may do this is because if we do a task, we get what we want and are happy, but the consequences do not come until later. And whenever they do come, it can be pretty upsetting. Now, I want to take the rest of the time to read your guys' stories about making decisions without thinking about the consequences. I've not checked the comments yet because I want to get my very first reaction while recording. To be honest, I do not think a single person responded, but let us see what y'all had to say, just in case someone did. Alright, let's see. This is from the Black Knight, a good YouTube friend of mine. He says, well, this girl I knew for a long time deleted me of every single social media. Do you want to know why? Well, because I broke up with her friend, who I didn't even like, and she knew it. Here's another story from M3 Online, IQ, another good friend. One time, I was watching a really epic action movie, and I thought to myself, hey, why don't I do something epic too? So I went to my kitchen and ate cereal without milk. True story. Wow, that was very, very serious decision making, M3. Like, man, I know you're all about that thug life, but I didn't realize you were at that level of thug. Really, M3? Oh my gosh, what is... Okay. You know, M3, I'm really surprised that you didn't make one of the biggest decisions without thinking about the consequences for your story. I thought the story that you would mention is how you made a Q&A video on your channel, and you said ask as many questions as you want. Well, man, I took that to heart. I asked 41 questions, so you better answer all 41 of those, because you said all of them, and I bet you didn't think about that consequence. This is a story from my good friend JNJ71. M3 and I, when we started to make that city that you were in, he said I'll make a statue of myself. And he did. A couple days later, I decided to come onto the city and add a beard to M3's statue. Then, when he came on a few hours later, he liked it. So to this day, that beard is still there, and sometimes when M3 comes on, he says, I still remember my reaction when I saw the beard on my statue. Good times. Alright, this is from the FireDog8500. I was 5 or 6, I don't know. I got mad at my sister for breaking a PlayStation 1 game, so I decided to hold in my farts for a week. Trust me, don't try. I woke up and I tried to, and nothing happened. So I went to school. We had a place to sit on the floor. I sat right in the front, and then I felt a rumble. I looked around and everyone was the same. And I remember that morning, and then I started to tell the teacher I need to use the bathroom. She said no, and then it happened. I went up in the air for a sec or two, and the teacher looked behind her and looked at me like I just pooped my pants, and I asked if I need to use the bathroom. I said yes. And when I got back, everyone moves away from me, and everyone called me the mad farter probably, or something like that for a few weeks. I do not recommend doing this, it hurts. I can still remember like it was a few seconds ago. I found the PS1 game today in a photo. I guess I really like Toy Story. Smiley face. After that year, no kindergarten teacher liked me in the classrooms. One thing that I want to mention is that all of these stories did not seem like serious ones, which is not a bad thing, but I feel the need to say that there are very serious things out there that people make the wrong choices of doing every day. And something that you do cannot be taken back. I know people who have done the wrong choices and live every day of their lives in misery because of it. I've known people who are really close to me, I've known people from other people telling me about them, but I've seen people making the wrong choices for very serious topics and things, and it's just devastating to see that they can't make it up no matter how hard they try. And for all those people who think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or it won't only last for a little bit, even if it does, there's no way of taking it back. Sadly, the world just doesn't work like that. So please just be aware of any situation. Well, I want to thank you all for everyone who did tell their stories. I'm sure everyone appreciates it. The big thing for me, personally, is to take time to think of everything just to be safe and have a backup plan, which I'm sure I will forget to do eventually because I am human, and sadly, it's kind of hard to think in the future and not the present, but I'm going to try my very best, and I hope you all do too. Well, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.